I think I talked about the application suites that we're able to empower with the data, common set of data, informing all those applications. By the way, when you're in my job, the death of any app, it's someone going into that application and the data being wrong. They won't go back. It's over, game over, you won't recover. And so we weren't even able to think about developing custom applications until we were about 3 years into this because we needed to make sure the data was right. The other part that we worked on was Matt had this vision for having a team at Link, a business-driven team of researchers, data scientists, if you will, to now take the information that we're starting to capture to then turn it into predictive insights going forward. So we got really good at looking at the past, right? And even current, pretty much. But we really wanted to talk about where is our business headed, where our lease is headed, where our valuation is headed. And so we had to build a function in and of itself and hire experts who've done this in other industries, adjacent industries, which Matt can probably explain the logic behind that, which I think was brilliant. And then we had to empower them with data scientists to be able to wrangle the data in a way that they needed, and then also give them access to our information in a way that empowers them to be able to do these different models in different ways. And that turned into something that we call Olinda. You want to color commentate on that a little bit?
What are the key questions we want to answer? What is the direction of rent growth? Which markets are going to have the most rent growth? Which assets are going to have the best rent growth? If you can answer that one question for a given asset, that helps you enormously in deciding whether you want to buy that asset or a different asset. But that's about predicting the future, which is not an easy thing, and we should be clear it cannot be done correctly, right? We never had any illusion that we would be able to predict the future with precision. All we were trying to do was come up with a group of people who could help us kind of narrow that cone of uncertainty by using more objective measures and more objective methodology, oftentimes based on historical data, looking at those historical trends and trying to extrapolate them better into the future. That is a very, very data-intensive process. As we all know, AI is supercharging the models to do things like that. We've been using machine learning, which I would say even predates some of the AI that we see today.
Old school AI.
But the bottom line is the fuel for that process is data, right? And it's data on a scale that we didn't see in this organization before, right? We have 3,000-4,000 assets, 20,000 different leases, whatever it is. That's on a very different scale. The models that we have now are using billions of data points, right? And again, good luck doing that on an Excel spreadsheet. Again, getting back to that, what questions are we trying to answer? How do we make better decisions? And so it was really about, gosh, all of us sitting around going, there's got to be a better way. What's the first thing we want to work on? And it was, well, if you could predict one thing, let's predict rents, right? Let's focus on that. And that led to a chain of events where we actually brought in Matt Rand and our current research team to focus on that issue very, very specifically.
So if you think about it from just the power of the platform and the exponential growth that it can provide us, we were just trying to solve a very basic problem in the beginning. And as we started to build this thing, it started to inform our application strategy. It started to inform our data information collection and consumption strategy with Power BI. Now it started to have splinters into predictive analytics. It all comes from the same data platform. And if we didn't do it that way, it would be exponentially more difficult and expensive to pull off. But because we were able to do it in a way that started with the data governance, has a single place to store the information, it's curated on a regular basis, and we have the integration services wrapped around it that we can feed information in and out very easily and repeatedly, it just creates this, I don't want to say flywheel-like velocity of ability to adopt new things and try new things for lower cost in the end, I think. And doing each of those independently.
For sure. And providing insights just leads to demand for more insights. That's been my experience. Yeah. It's very few humans that when they get a little taste of what this can do, they don't say, oh, can you do this, this, and this for me as well. We're making this kind of sound like a very linear process. There was a lot of trial and error here, and Matt Rand can tell you specifically, when we started to build his kind of research platform on the data platform, we kind of didn't know exactly what we were doing. We made a bunch of mistakes, and even today, we're kind of going through the process of re-engineering their pipeline process, re-engineering their architecture to make sure that it works as efficiently as possible. And so I'm saying that, in a modesty sense, but also you have to have an appetite for trial and error in this business.